All right, welcome back to the Gym Owners Podcast. On today's episode, we have Derek Cook with Ultimate Goals Fitness. Thank you, Derek, for coming on board. Derek has an awesome story where he actually is a multiple club location and he's worked at other gyms besides owning his own. Derek, thank you for coming on here. I know we've talked before coming on with the software. I know me and you have talked a couple of years. You've gone through like 4 different software companies. So I appreciate you trusting your business with us, and, glad to have you on here. So my first question that I usually start with everybody is, what made you start getting your own gym? And, how long ago was that?
Well, it was in between 2002 and 2000 and definitely 5. This is 5 is when I got certified as a trainer. I started working out at local gyms in my hometown, and there's random guys coming in, one guy in particular that really got me into personal training was a young kid, and he walked in, typical, don't know what to do, eyes wide, so I started working with him, and it got to the point to where he was shredded, and he was just killing it. He was getting stronger. He was entering weightlifting competitions and stuff. And I was like, man, this is pretty cool, And I was like, wasn't even certified at the time. So then I started studying into it, and started making my way as a personal trainer, just picking up clients around the gym there. And then that was actually in Sioux Falls. And then I wanted to move out to Rapid, and that's where I decided I want to start helping more people. So I want to get a gym and get other trainers underneath me and work in that way.
Gotcha. So did you start off with one gym? Because I know you have multiple locations. Did you start off with just one?
I did. Yep. I was actually managing another gym, and then opened up my Blackhawk location in January 2011. And we had that one for 4 years before we opened up our Valley location.
Okay. So did you think that working at that other location helped you with your own club? Like, you were able from the inside, okay, this is how this works and stuff like that? Or
right.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Because before I was just a trainer. So when I started to manage it, I started to see more of the software side of things, and a lot more account issues, and seeing the actual business side of it, opposed to just doing personal training. Obviously I had that business down. So.
Gotcha. How long? So you said it took 4 years. What made you decide, I have to have another location? Because I know some people, or people that even may be watching this, are on the fence of, I don't know, it's a gamble if I open up another location. What was like your deciding factor and made you know, like, I need another location?
Well, I felt like we were already peaking out at our current location, and it was getting to the point where I was going to have to hire a new employee. So I was just thinking, if I'm going to have a higher payroll, I can kind of piggyback on that if we have a second location. And so that it helped us expand as far as staff wise. Plus, I was having people drive like 40 minutes. They would drive from a city south of Rapid City through Rapid City to Blackhawk just to get to my gym. So I knew that I had something that wasn't being serviced. So that's when I wanted to and I'm on the outskirts of Rapid City is what I am. So I'm kind of making sure that people can get to us easy.
What do you think that you were doing differently that was making people drive 45 minutes to come see you that other gyms aren't doing?
Customer service, hands down. We're a 24-hour facility, and when I was running my gym all by myself, my phone was on me 24 hours. If they were locked out at 3 o'clock in the morning, they could give me a call, and I would make sure they got in. So,
gotcha. Okay, so and that's another good segue. Is when did you go 24 hours, and what was some of the, just in case someone's a gym owner that's not 24 hours, what was some of the benefits that you saw with going 24 hours? And have you ever had any problems? Because I know some owners don't go, I can't go 24 hours. What about the liability? So when did you know that it was time to go 24 hours? And has it been any issues for you?
We did go 24/7 from the get-go. We actually started off just using QuickBooks to collect payments. and then a completely separate door access system. So I was running reports constantly and then having to go back into the door access system and control, turn keys on and off. But so that was kind of a headache at first with the 24/7, but now it's just typical stuff. People letting in their friends to come into the gym and when we're not around, and just stuff like that. So, but we're getting that under control as well. So it's same old stuff.
Same old stuff. Well, yeah, hopefully the digital key should solve all that, where people just go online, instant access, you're good. And the rollover QR code hopefully solves all that issues for you. Another big issue I know that I'm hearing from a lot of owners is getting employees. And it seems like you have good employees over at your club. Do you have any advice of how maybe you got them, or something that you do to find employees, or how do you vet them? Like, how do you find like a good manager at your location?
Okay. Yeah. My manager was actually an employee, or not employee, was a member of mine for years before I hired her. And she had asked me, a long time ago, she had asked me if we were hiring. And at the time we weren't. And I just kind of, after that, when people ask me that stuff, I kind of pay attention to them and see their work ethic. Obviously they're in the gym. If they're being lazy in the gym, even though they're a manager, even though they're a member, they might not be a good employee, right? So, and just started talking to her and building the base from there. And yeah, so far my manager's worked out great. She's awesome. And she's not really a manager. I only have the one manager, but my employee that works solely at the Blackhawk location, she's amazing as well. But I found her because she called me looking for personal training jobs. So I told her, I said, well, you're new to the area, you're going to need to build your clientele. How about you work for me? And she's killing it too. So that was pretty much just luck.
Gotcha. Yeah. It's like, sometimes it's like finding a diamond in the rough, to where to find somebody that's going to care about the business as if it was their own. Like, that's the ultimate, right? To find an employee that's like that. Yeah, it's hard. It's definitely hard to find. So I know you said you started off with personal training. So I take it you guys are a heavily personal training gym. Personal training is one of the hardest things I'm seeing that most gyms to sell at point of sale. How do you guys sell your training? Do you guys try, obviously, I'm sure you guys probably try to sell it at point of sale. What methods do you do to sell personal training when somebody comes in?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we've got a booking system set up. We even have it on our website. So if somebody comes in and they're inquiring, or even if they're not, what we like to do is we like to say, hey, let's get you in front of a personal trainer for a free consultation. They'll show you how to use the equipment, make sure you have all of your answers or all of your questions answered, and we'll get you set up with that. And then we just have trainers in rotation for that. So.
Gotcha. So basically, I'm sure, so I know you do the consultation, but I remember I was somebody that loved to sell personal training at point of sale. I always try it because I believe if you sell personal training, your customer base is going to stay with you twice as long than somebody that signs up and pays you 6 or 7 months of dues and ends up canceling, right? So I know to like push that hot button, find out what they want to change about themselves, really harp on that, just in case they say they all want to think about it. But the free consultation will probably take care of all those people that say they want to think about it. After about a half an hour, they're huffing and puffing. They know that they need to change something. Right. So what do you think was, I mean, that's another good thing is how do you get trainers? Because I have people that they charge rent for their location. Other owners will charge a 50-50 split. Is there anything that you look out for when you're hiring personal trainers? And what's a good measure of how you think is better to pay them to keep them around?
Right. Well, when I look at personal trainers, it's 100% personality. Like, obviously they have to know how to do personal training and stuff and work with clients to make sure that they're working out safely and effectively. But if they don't have that personality, if they don't have that self-drive, they're not going to go anywhere. They're not going to be, like you said, when you're talking about getting them on to do personal training, you want to kind of dig into them and get to know your clientele. So if you don't have the right personality to do that, you're not going to be very successful. And as far as paying them goes, I have actually kind of shifted gears. I was doing a 70-30 split, which was pretty pretty good for our area because a lot of people do 50-50, like you said. But now I want to increase our classes because group training is taking off so much. So what I do is, in exchange for doing the free consultations, I also have them teaching a class once a week, and then in exchange they can have 100% of their dues. But so that kind of shifts them over to them being their own employee, or being their own, as being self-employed.
Sure.
But,
That's awesome. Yeah, that's great. There's so many different ways how people do training. I know, like, and it's good that you have that more of a split, because the 50-50 split, you always end up seeing like a person does great their first month. They do a little bit worse the second month. And slowly but surely you'll have somebody that was selling like $4,000 in training. Next month is 3,000. Next month is 2,000. And come on, they're doing parking lot deals and training under the table, or coming in after hours when you leave, So
right.
I like that you said that. And they have to be, I mean, personality. I would try to look for people that can make friends in 3 minutes, because they're the bartender of fitness, right?
Right.
If the person doesn't like them, yeah, I don't care how much knowledge you have in training. If the person doesn't like them, they're not going to, re-sign. Their re-signs are going to be very limited. That's why you see trainers where like the clients are bringing them Christmas presents or inviting them on vacation sometimes. So yeah, I get that. So I want to go over, without naming any companies. I know you've had 4 different software companies. If anyone that's watching that's having some issues, what were some of the big issues that made you like constantly change software companies? Like, what wasn't working out that made you change, because it's not a fun process to
No.
change,
No.
So what were some of your hardships when looking for software?
Well, looking for software is so tough. I've looked at, I can't even tell you how many, but it's trying to figure out what fits the best, obviously. So the first company I was with, they focused more on group training, and they weren't really a 24/7. They had an door access controller, obviously, because I went with them, but that wasn't their main focus. It was just kind of like, this is what we do, and oh yeah, also you can have that kind of situation. So there was just too many headaches, and it was confusing to explain to my employees how to sign somebody up properly and do the back end of things. And then my current situation before I switched to you guys was the inconsistency of their door controllers. They'd go offline and people would be locked out. Like I said, my phone's on me 24/7. They call me, my calls shot up from people getting locked out. And of course, you're going to have those people that don't want to call you. They just get pissed off and leave, especially if they're already slammed their pre-workout and they're ready to go and can't get into the gym. They get pretty upset.
Yeah, especially if it's like 4 or 5 in the morning before work. Yeah, I couldn't imagine.
Exactly. Yep. So
yeah, I've worked at a couple places like that where every morning my stomach would be in knots before I open the email. Like, I was like, oh, I don't want to open that email because I know it's going to be like 3 or 4 people either threatening to cancel because they couldn't get in, wanting a refund. It's just every day, instead of starting off positive, I just didn't want to open the email,
Right. And you're going to have people complain about something. You can't make everybody happy, but the door control, I definitely feel on them on that. Being locked out, that sucks.
Yeah. I mean, that was probably one of the main reasons why when we went with it to not do any third-party door controllers. Because I mean, when you have a third party, you have this company trying to work with this company, but when something fails, you call this company and they go, nope, not our problem. It's this company's fault. You call this company, and everyone's just pointing fingers. And, you're like, guys, I just want my door to work. I'm a 24/7 gym. And then the last thing you want is like a review on like Yelp or something saying can't get in, door doesn't work, or something like that. That's actually that's another thing I wanted to bring up was reviews, because I've had a couple new owners ask me like, hey, what's the best way to get reviews or combat reviews? Because sometimes with Yelp, where like if you don't pay them, they only show the negative reviews. I remember that used to be an issue in the past. Is there anything you guys do specially to get your reviews up or have good reviews?
We've actually kind of gotten away from that. We just, because I did try to focus on, well, one company, they integrated with Listen 360, which was pretty cool because I could put the reviews on my website and it was discreet. It didn't have their names and stuff on it. It did all that automatically, which was pretty cool. But yeah, I don't know. I just feel like I got too worried about showing those off when the only thing you really need is you need your neighbors talking to other neighbors is what you need. So we just kind of like let that go to the wayside. And when somebody has a question, and I do it too, if I'm trying a new restaurant, if I'm trying to do something else, I'm going to ask people I know anyway, right? So I'm not going to listen to a bunch of strangers on the website.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. So how would you say your website sales are going? I know some people are thinking about doing website sales. Some people have always done website sales. What would you say like your percentage of website sales are? And is there anything that you do, like you promoted on a certain Facebook or anything to get that number up?
Yeah, really don't. That's it. For advertising, that's all I do is on Facebook. There's a link on my Facebook page that goes to that. But yeah, my sales are close to 40% online. It's online is huge for us.
Wow.
Even over Easter, we hadn't really told anybody that we're going to Gym Insight yet or anything like that. But I was working over the weekend and getting everything taken off from my old software and then integrating everything for Club Insight. And we had like $600 worth of sales just on Easter Day, which is crazy because it's Easter. I haven't told anybody about the software. I haven't told anybody about it, so our website sales are pretty big.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Is there anything that you guys try to do to get people to walk in the door? Like, is your gym off the beaten path? Is it in a mini shopping center? I know getting people through the door is like always the number one problem. Getting people through the door,
Yep.
giving a proper tour, price presentation, and closing. Is there anything that you guys have to do, especially to try to get people in the door?
Not really. Once they know we're there, because there's no other gym really around us. You got to go downtown to hit another gym. So as long as people know that we're there and we're right, a couple blocks from their house, they'll come right in and check it out. A couple of the struggles that I've had is our storefronts are on main roads. Like we have 10,000 people a day drive by our club, but they don't see us. So what I did is I actually made a trailer sign, and then I pull it around and I put it in different spots so people can see me as they drive by, and then of course they get to Googling us and they find us. But another thing too is our storefront. When you walk up to it, it looks like it's an 8-foot wall and that's it. But when you go inside, we got these tall ceilings and stuff. So the size of our facility is deceiving from the outside.
Okay. Was there anything like how long have you guys been open over there now?
Well, we've been around since January 2011 for our Blackhawk location and January 2015 for our Valley location. So we're coming up on 11 years.
Well, so out of all the, well, yeah, over a decade is. So what would you say your main struggle out of all those 10 years? What do you think your biggest struggle was with owning multiple clubs? And if you could do anything different, if there was a different solution, what would that be? If there was any.
Yeah, by far when we opened up the second location was staffing. There's been a few times where I had somebody out on vacation, then another person gets sick, and then somebody else does a show or something happens. And then it's just me running between the two, and we're 18 miles apart. So that's when somebody walks up to the door and they're ready to sign up now, and I got to tell them, oh, I'll be there in 20 minutes. That doesn't work out. So that was kind of a headache. But then again, now I just tell them, hey, I'm sorry I can't make it out there. If you hop on our website, you can get in 5 minutes and have your membership set up. And I do have one of the headaches about this, though, is I had a guy sign up for my 7-day trial online, which I have removed it now, but he just kept doing it. He kept creating a whole new account and then buying the 7-day trial. Once it expired, he'd create a whole new account, buy another one. Because the way that
So would you had to set up as a free account on your membership list?
yeah, just for a 7-day trial. And when people are locked out in that scenario, like I was saying, it's just, hey, hop online, do that 7-day trial, and you can get into the gym and just take a tour. You don't have to commit to anything yet. But now that little punk made me realize that I got some issues.
There's always going to be a scammer, right? There's always
Right.
going to be a scammer. I mean, so there's two types of the stories. I mean, I talk to so many different people, and some people like, I don't even offer a 7-day trial because if like, let's say you have your average Joe that hasn't worked out for a couple of years and is looking for any excuse not to join. If they see the option of not paying, they're going to always pick that and probably never use it and be like, oh, glad I didn't buy a membership, but then you lost that sale. Do you see anything to that? Or are you seeing the opposite where it's like, no, people are actually trying the 7-day trial and still becoming members? What do you have to say to that? Because you're obviously offering a 7-day trial on your website.
Right. Well, just like you were saying earlier, when you're doing personal training, you kind of got to dig into the people and know them. A lot of the people that aren't successful at the 7-day trials is because they're not doing proper follow-ups. They're just, oh, he's already a member, and they kind of forget about him. Well, you can't do that. You got to, shoot him a text message, an email, something, give him a call every now and then, say, hey, it's been 3 days. Since you started with your trial, how is everything going? Is there anything that you want to see different? You just you want to pick their brain as much as possible and figure out where you're lacking and where you're being successful at. So.
Oh yeah, 100%. If you were acting like that, then yes, you could do 7-day trials all day long. Mm-hmm. If you're an owner watching this, that you're not going to do that, do not put a 7-day trial on your website, because Absolutely. All that person is going to do is like, oh boy, glad I didn't sign up, rather than you could have gotten them to sign up, pay 8-10 months of dues and not use it. So yes, that's good. If you're going to offer a 7-day trial or any trial, you have to make contact with the person, follow up with them, make sure they show up. If they no show, you schedule another time out there, because that's so critical, because there are a ton of people out there that are just looking for an excuse to make them feel better about not signing up to the gym, and then wait till next January before they walk into another one,
Right. Yep, absolutely.
Geez. All right. So what would you say? I'm trying to think of, because I know personal training is hard to teach people to sell at point of sale, especially trainers, because trainers get into the business to help people, not be salesmen, right? So, I mean, I know I've had to come up with scripts that make it easy for the trainers to learn how to sell. Is there anything that you have taught your trainers to help like close a deal after an orientation? Is it prescription selling? Is it like, tell me what your method is to selling training after like an orientation or at point of sale.
Yeah. So I was big into that. I was a personal trainer. I was in it to help people, and I hated collecting payments. I hated telling them that they owed me money, but you just got to work past that mentally, like you got to feed yourself too. So when I talk to my trainers on there, I try to make sure that they're, open about that, and they understand, like, you're not just, you're not ripping this person off. You're trying to help them, and they need to accommodate you for that. That's just how the world works. So when we do the orientation, I just tell my trainers to make sure, they're building that rapport with them. And that's really all it takes. Usually they're like, okay, well, yeah, I like this person. They know what they're doing. It's only been a week. I'm going to give them some more time. And then they start buying, our 10-session packages and stuff like that, and working with them long term. And we also try to make sure that we don't want to push that this is it. You're going to pay me $300 every 2 weeks for the rest of your life. We don't want to push that as well. So we do have a laid back approach, and it's just been working for us on that. So.
Yeah, it's so weird, like the sales psychology. I remember there was a trainer that just like, they couldn't close the window, and it's just a matter of believing in what you're selling. So I was like, all right, let's make a package that you believe in or you want. So they made up like this 8-session package. So I don't know why it was 8, but they wanted 8. Great. We came up with a price. All of a sudden, they started selling it, like just as if they were like a master salesperson. And I was like, why are you all of a sudden able to sell this one? Like, oh, because it makes sense. This one is great for people that are just starting out. I'm like, do you know what the best training package is to sell? any training package. As long
Right.
as you get them started, it gets them on the hook. They start to get addicted to it. They start to like it. You guys become friends, and you hopefully you get those lifers. But
Mhm.
if there's a good trainer with some good rapport building, you're going to keep a client for a few months on the minimum.
Right.
So I don't care if it's a 3 for $99 jumpstart package or whatever you call it, or an 8 session or a 20 session. Any training is the best training package to sell to
Right.
somebody in the beginning.
Now about that, we have the starter 6-pack is what we have. So it's 6 sessions, and it's discounted down. And I have a love-hate relationship for it because it's great to get people in the door and on it because they see that discount. But I hate it because that 6 sessions goes so quick, and then all of a sudden you're trying to sell them the big package, right? The 10 session ones, and it's too intimidating for them. And it's not even that, ours isn't even that big of a price point difference, but it's like you're saying, the psychology of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I just got you for this price, and now you're going to tell me that it's 20% higher. So,
Well, I mean, on the like the starter package, I think every gym has like that type of starter package. Right off the bat in the beginning, whenever I would sell training, I would totally let them know there's a difference between this one and this one. This one, we're pretty much going to hold your hand to get you to the way you want to look. We're going to make sure you get that way. This is more of like a student teacher program where you're better off than not doing any training at all, but it's not as good as our regular training packages.
right,
So just in case they didn't see any difference after that, say 6 sessions or whatnot, they say, well, let's try one last try at the actual training, and we'll see how you do there. Just so, because if it's very important that people know that personal training is personal training, a jump start or a group training is different, and an orientation is different.
right,
One of the main pet peeves is when salespeople would just do anything to sell a membership where they would say, oh, this membership comes with a free session of personal training. No, it doesn't. That's an orientation. An orientation shows you how to use the equipment properly. It
right.
doesn't tell you how to use the equipment properly to get you to the way you want to look. There's a difference. Um,
Absolutely.
so that was another thing where selling training at point of sale. Do you have like a percentage that you guys try to hit? Like, I know a lot of places try to do 30% of training to new memberships sold. Is there a percentage that you guys try to strive for?
I haven't really broken that down into a percentage. We just, we shoot for 100%. Obviously, but we know we're not going to get 100%. There's no way. So, if I was to look back at the numbers, yeah, it's probably around that 12, not 30, I think is even kind of high. It's probably around 25%. But we also have a lot of military, and we have a lot of construction workers, and we have a lot of these people that come in and have the mindset that they're already fitness. They already know what they need to do. They don't need a trainer. So, but but the other people that we do get are the ones that come in, I don't know how to use this machine. I don't know how to do this. I don't know where to start. So those are the ones that we actually convert.
Yeah, those were the best, where they just come in like after January, one person a month or something. You get that one person goes, hey, I need personal training. You better have your salespeople or your trainers know how to maximize a sale, because that person, if you just sell them a 6 package, you probably just lost out money, because they would have definitely done like a 20 or a 40 session. Someone that just comes in off the boat without a membership says, hey, I need personal training. You make sure that person gets everything that they need, and not just a 3 for $99 or something,
Right.
So 11 years you've had all the locations. My next question, and we'll ramp it down here soon, is out of all the years you've been in business, if there was anything if you could do anything when starting over, what would that be that you would change, if there is anything?
Our locations, which is funny because the reason why I chose them is because I felt like they were close to the residentials, obviously, and away from Rapid. There was just nobody in the area, essentially, no other gym in the area to compete against. So, but like our Valley location, especially, it's prime real estate, and we're paying crazy amounts in rent, where a competitor of mine downtown in city at that is paying a quarter of the price for twice the space. So
Wow.
that's definitely something that I'd like to change. But of course, they don't have the visibility that we have, and they're off the beaten path. But I should have known, especially when I opened my Blackhawk location. Like I said, I had people driving 40 plus minutes out there to see us. So being visible isn't necessarily that important for our location, our demographic anyways. I'm sure in the bigger cities, that's completely different scenario, but.
Gotcha. Okay. So if there was any brand new gym owners, because sometimes I do have people that are just about to start a gym, that's what these pretty much are for. Any advice you would give a brand new gym owner with like equipment, rent, anything before they started a club?
Yeah. And like I said, this is just my demographics. It could be completely different, but I handpicked each one of my machines, and I had a couple of them that I went used with, and I kind of tried to go cheap on, and I really wish I wouldn't have, because that's just a shorter time period. You got to replace that machine, right? So I definitely make sure that the equipment that you pick is new and quality, and you're going to have that warranty and everything underneath your belt on your stuff. And your customers are going to like that too. They don't want to walk in and see a dinosaur sitting over there in the corner. So
yeah, no 20-year-old equipment. That's
yeah.
I mean, there's some used equipment that looks brand new. But you don't want like the old Icarian 1990s equipment. Yeah. I mean, There's some people that like that, but I mean, come on, you're gonna open a gym, you want something nice to look at when people walk in, So I agree with that.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, is anything else you want to talk about? I'm going to be wrapping down this episode. Anything that was appointments that maybe past COVID that had you change the way that you do membership, an enhancement fee? Did you have to raise your dues? Anything to keep up with what COVID caused?
Yeah, we actually just raised our rates. We've kept it low this entire time. We're the same this entire time, but. And that was another thing, like I was telling you about with Easter, the sales happened. And I'm like, because I was nervous about that. I raised them quite a bit. I'm like, this is going to kill us. But no, they showed me wrong on that. But back about COVID, though, the being able to sell the memberships online and stuff, that is super key, because you still have, it's not nowhere near like it was, but you still have people that are a little sketch about, oh, I don't know if I want to be around a bunch of people right now and stuff like that. So being able to sell it online, we're one less person they got to talk to, face to face anyway, as far as that goes. And then we still talk to them on the phone, and they come in, they do their thing, and then, they head out. So.
Awesome. Well, dude, thank you so much for coming on here. I know, again, me and Derek probably have talked off and on for 2 years before you decided to come on board with Gym Insight.
Yeah. I think the first time we talked was easily 2 years ago, and then you reached out again about just over a year ago. So yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah. All right. Well, brother, thank you so much. If you need anything, give us a holler. But thank you for being on Gym Owners Podcast.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, brother. Bye.